We have trained for how we would respond to something like that, and then we would also go into a mutual aid with the surrounding agencies. We've got the Travis County Sheriff's Department, the Texas Department of Public Safety, the University of Texas has a police department, Williamson County Sheriffs, Hayes County Sheriff. So we're fortunate that being in the region we're in, we have got a lot of support here in the region, and with many of the departments I just mentioned, we actually do training exercises with them as well. So although it would stretch our resources, we would pull in every resource to handle it.
Can you also speak to the fact that, yes, the Orlando Police Department is in Florida, but police departments work together, there's a brotherhood. I mean, are there any connections between APD and Orlando Police, that sort of thing? Have y'all reached out to them at all?
Yes, we let them know that obviously they're not going to need resources from us, but just from a more of a support that, you know, we understand the tragedy that they've been through and the difficulty that they've faced. As a law enforcement community, as with many other public safety groups, it is a tight-knit family, and it is hard to imagine what those first responding officers went through as they tried to respond to that and understand the magnitude of the threat that they were facing, and then the challenge of the response that they had to put together.
Are you concerned about copycat crimes at all? Sometimes these big events can influence that.
Sure, I think you always have to be aware that when these things get in the media, that sometimes you have individuals that do this for the sake of getting the publicity that this obviously has garnered. But I think we live in a day and a time where people always have to be vigilant. You always have to be aware of your surroundings. You always have to be aware of what's normal in your community, in your neighborhood, in your workplace, so that you can easily identify what's not normal and then determine whether or not it's something that's of a concern. Back to the see something, say something, that you should report it.
Do you get an uptick in those type of reports after events like this? Do you get...
It'd be hard to say on a national scale after such a major incident like this whether there's an uptick. Again, I think the focus is that you just have to, as a community, we all have to be aware. We all have a role to play in this. Obviously, as the law enforcement providers for this community, we have a very significant role, but each and every member of our community needs to play a role in keeping all of us safe.
Last question.
You said you had 120 officers trained for active shooters. Is that what you said?
No, so we have every single officer is trained for how to respond to a circumstance like we've seen, unfortunately, occur across this country all too frequently. We've got a group, the Counter Assault Strike Team. These are officers that have received additional training, additional resources, and are better trained and equipped to handle an incident like that. Thank you.
Actually, I think a lot of people are looking for some sort of assurance. We tactically sound in the city to be able to respond to something like that.
The City of Austin is very fortunate to have the resources that we have. We've got a full-time, highly trained special weapons team. In addition, we've got the CAS team that I described earlier. So although any city can face a threat in this current environment, I think the City of Austin, we are prepared to face that threat, and we are equipped to face that threat as best we can.
Thank you.